we are talking about constructive and organic lines, two different ways of drawing lines that have a completely different feel to them. So the first type of line we're talking about are constructive lines. Now the root of the word constructive is construct. That refers to things that are constructed, things that are made by human beings. You can think of buildings, you can think of gears. A constructive line is a line that has the feeling of being sturdy. It's typically straight, typically has sharp corners, typically feels sleek in a very modern way, and definitely doesn't feel wishy-washy or fluid, and definitely feels like it has structure. On the contrast are organic lines. Organic lines are natural lines. You have the root word organ, because the word organic means things with organs, or things that are living, right? So organic things are things from nature, living things. Now organic lines doesn't necessarily mean you're drawing living things. It means the line itself has a feeling of being organic or being fluid and natural. For example, fire is not alive, but it's definitely drawn using an organic line. So here you have examples of birds and fish and clouds. Again, clouds are not alive, but drawn with an organic line. So we're going to use these two concepts, organic and constructive line, to make our name tags. For these name tags, we really want to use organic and constructive lines to their fullest extent. We're really going to fill the entire space with organic and constructive lines. So here are a couple of examples. I've got some good and bad examples mixed in here. Here's one by Jessica Lee. And the thing you'll notice first is that it is filled with lines edge to edge. There's no space, there's no square inch of this artwork that is empty of lines. There's lines that fill up all the space. You'll also notice that there are lines both inside and outside the letters, and that there's lots of examples of both constructive and organic lines, and that there are no lines where you look at it and you wonder, well, is that constructive or is that organic? You really want definite constructive lines, geometric lines, definite organic natural lines. Here's another good example by Jenny Medina, and I really love the way she put the designs inside the letters. The clouds inside of the Y, the straight lines inside of the N. The letters are well done. You do not have to do block letters, as you'll see in the next one, but you do need to make sure that you can fit designs inside of them. So here's an okay example, and what I like about this, on the name Alice, is that you can really see they're not exactly block letters. She really did a good job designing the letters the way she wanted to. The squiggliness of the L, the flower shape of the dot on the I. But there are some places that this name tag needs to improve. One way is the variety of lines. You notice that for constructive lines, most of her examples are either straight line patterns or grid line patterns. So she has grid, and then another grid, and another grid, and then a straight line pattern, and another straight line pattern, and another straight line pattern, and another grid. So I really want to see lots of different examples of organic constructive lines. If you fill an area, a whole area with one type or another, and you don't switch it up to being a different kind of organic line or a different kind of constructive line, you don't have enough variety. The other place where this name tag falls short is the last name up there at the top. Notice it's upside down on the other side of the fold. The F-A-N in fan does not have a design inside of it, so it really needs to have a design inside the letters. Here is a good example, Jackie Lou, and on these letters and in this design, it's wonderful because on one side of the name tag, on the first name, it's all organic lines, no constructive lines. And on the opposite side, with the last name, it's all constructive lines, no organic lines, really keeping it pure on each side of the name tag. You don't have to do that, but it's just kind of a nice touch that was done on this one. On this name tag, what I like about it is lots of good variety of lines, but I wish they filled the space a little bit more. You notice that sun behind the first name is all empty. It's just kind of filled in with some yellow color pencil. or marker or whatever that is. I would really like to see some types of lines in there, some line patterns, maybe something related to the sun that might have made it interesting. But it's pretty much left plain with no lines. Here's another example. This one does have a lot of variety of lines, but it's missing designs inside the letters. If you notice that all the letters, they're just filled in with color. There's no extra design in them. So let's look at putting designs in the letters. To put a design in a letter, you cannot draw it with just single straight lines. That T with just a crossbar on top and a straight line down the middle cannot have a design put into it. It's not possible. So you have to have a line that has thickness. It's like the line is that forms a shape rather than just a line. So now that letter T can have a design put into it. The design does not have to be a block letter. It could be a bubble letter or any kind of letter design that you'd like. But it does have to have a design in the letter. So here are the requirements for this project. 1. Use lots of examples of constructive and organic lines. You need to fill the paper edge to edge. That means there's no spaces that have no lines. You need to make sure you have patterns or designs inside the letters. And finally, be creative. Put a lot of thought into it. Be original. On grading this project, this is going to be our rubric. You're going to be graded in 3 primary categories. The first one is organic and constructive lines, how well you use them. The second is variety and space, whether you have lots of variety of lines and fill up all the space. And lastly is creative effort, which is how hard did you try, how much focus did you have, and also how much thought did you put into it, how much original thinking did you put into it. So we're going to grade these on a 4-point scale. A 4 is going to be excellent or above average work. That means you really did your best and you really succeeded at what you attempted. A 3 is for average or typical work and maybe has room for improvement. You did okay, but there's areas definitely that you need to improve upon. A 2 is for work that is clearly poor or unsuccessful. Really work that did not meet the expectations, the minimum expectations that I was looking for. And lastly, a 1 is only for incomplete work. So most of you are only going to be doing work that shows a 4 or 3 or 2. A 1 would only be for an incomplete project. So here's how it breaks down, giving you an idea of what would be a 4, what would be a 3, what would be a 2. For the category of organic and constructive lines, if you have good examples of both organic and constructive lines, you're going to get a 4, right? If maybe you're weak in one area, you don't have enough organic lines, you don't have enough constructive lines, or maybe your constructive lines are a little bit wobbly because you're having a hard time drawing the line straight or something, then you might get a 3. If you're showing me no understanding of organic and constructive lines, I really can't tell what they are on either side, then you're likely to get a 2. For variety and space, there's 2 ways to get a 4. You have to have both of them. You have to have variety of lines. That means lots of different ways of creating lines. You're probably looking at least 10 different patterns of lines of each category on each side of your name tag. And no space that has no lines. Don't leave any space empty. If you do that, then you're going to get a 4. If you have some variety and maybe a few places that have no lines, then you might get a 3. Just some areas that maybe could have filled, or maybe you have a little bit of a variety, but you could have had a lot more, then that would be a 3. But if you use a lot of the same patterns everywhere and there's a lot of empty space, that's going to be a 2. For creative effort, did you try hard? Did you put a lot of thought and energy into it? Were you focused when you were working on it? Did you put a lot of your creative energy into it? If you did, that's a 4. If you didn't really try as hard as you could, you kind of went through the motions, maybe you weren't completely focused, that's a 3. And for a 2 means you really didn't show any effort, little to no effort shown. Now, at the end of this project, I'm going to have you evaluate yourself. Here we have an example of a self-evaluation. Grading yourself in the 3 categories. Each category is 4 points, so it's out of 12 points. And you can see here, Allie gave herself a 4 and a 4 and a 3 on her project. for a total of 11 points. It's an A minus. That's pretty good. But there's another possibility for points on this assignment, and that is for doing a good self-evaluation and giving evidence as to why you deserve those grades. So if you are able to evaluate yourself correctly, the same way I would evaluate you, if I would give Allie a 4, and a 3, and she gives good reasons for those grades, I'm going to give her a full extra credit point. That's a full extra letter grade bump on her grade. So an 11 is an A minus. If I gave her an extra point, it would make it a 12, which is an A plus. A 10, which is a B, would have an extra point, turning it into an 11, which is an A minus. A 9, which is a C, would bump it up to a B, etc. So it really is almost a full letter grade on this project if you get it correct. So let's talk about how to get it correct. And the most important thing are these reasons over here on the side. You have to say why you deserve a 4 or a 3. If it's a 4, you should tell me what you did well on the project. If it's a 3 or a 2, you should need to say how you could have improved on the project. And you must list specific evidence. If you don't list specific evidence, you're not going to get the extra point. So let's look at Allie's evidence. First, my first name, that's a specific part of her name tag, showed a great example of organic lines, also specific. And my last name had a variety of constructive lines. Very good. So I could look at her name tag, look where her first name is and see organic lines. Look where her last name is and see constructive lines. In that case, she would get it. Now let's look at the next one. I used a variety of patterns and ideas inside my name tag, or on my name tag. Is that specific? Do I know where to look at the name tag to find the variety of patterns and ideas? Or is it just kind of general on my name tag? It could be anywhere, right? What am I really looking for? It's not specific enough. So I really want specific evidence, such as this. I'm going to erase that. I'm going to put in, I used a variety of patterns and ideas inside my letters. Oh, well, now that's different, right? It's just one sentence, but now I've added inside my letters, which is a specific piece of evidence, where to look to find the variety of patterns. So now I can go to your name tag, look at it, look inside your letters, and if I see a variety of patterns and ideas, then sure, I might say, well, you do deserve a 4 for that. Good job. Now on creative effort, she wrote, I could have put more details in my background. That's a specific piece of evidence, your background, and a specific thing that you could have improved on, adding more details. So, very good. I agree with this assessment, so therefore I would give this person a yes plus 1, right? That's a full extra credit point on their project. On the grade, you earned the 11, but you got the extra point, which makes it equivalent to a 12. So while the grade is an A minus, it's the same thing as if they got an A plus. If you were to get a 12, all 4 4s, and the S plus 1, you could potentially get 13 points out of 12 on this project. If you do get it all right, I'll put the S plus 1, then I will circle the points, write your grade on it, and give it back to you. If you did not get the S plus 1, say maybe I thought Allie deserved 4 4s, or a 3 and a 4 instead of a 4 and a 3. Then what I'll do is I'll change the grade and write the reason for the change in grade and where she could improve her project. So I hope that explains everything. I want to wish you all good luck on this project, and use lots of good organic lines, constructive lines, fill up all the space, and try as hard as you can. Put good thoughts into it. All right? Really be creative. All right, good luck.